Ser Duncan the Tall, A Hero's Journey Throughout Westeros. Welcome back, everyone. I'm a lady of Westeros, and today we will be taking a deep dive into the life of one of Westeros's most famous and beloved characters, Ser Duncan the Tall. There will be spoilers ahead, so if you don't want to be spoiled, back away now, go read the books, their novellas, and then come back, but you have been warned. Known to the fans of A Song of Ice and Fire as the humble hedge knight with a heart of gold, Ser Duncan's story is one that is filled with horror, loyalty, and tragedy. So let's take a journey through the life of Ser Duncan the Tall, from his humble beginnings in Flea Bottom to his legendary death at Summerhall. Dunk's early life remains something of a mystery, even to Dunk himself. He was born around about the year 209 AC, and no one knows really anything about his parentage or lineage. He was raised or left to wander the slums of Flea Bottom, the poorest district within all of King's Landing. He knew nothing of his mother or his father, but what little we do know about Dunk's early life was that he was taken in by a wandering hedge knight named Ser Arlan of Pennytree when he was still just a child. Ser Arlan was a good man. He was a simple man of simple means, but he had great honor and became more than just a mentor to Dunk. He was a father figure to the young boy that had lacked one his whole life. He taught him the ways of knighthood, taught Dunk the understanding of chivalry, and that shaped Dunk in many different ways. Much of his own kindness and sense of justice came from what he learned being Ser Arlan's squire and seeing what, even though he was just a hedge knight, again of humble means, simple means, he was a good man, a good knight that upheld the rules and conduct, the Queensberry marks of Queensberry rules of knighthood, and it really did set Dunk on a path of chivalry and knighthood that ultimately led to Summerhall. Under Ser Arlan's tutelage, Dunk traveled the roads of Westeros, learning the ways of a hedge knight. He became both strong in body and in character, though he did lack a lot of the social graces and refinement that a knight born to a noble house would have, just out of being from a noble house. But life on the road, it was hard, but it gave Dunk a very unique understanding of the struggles that the small folk faced, an understanding that would define his character as a knight for all the years that would follow. Ser Arlan gave Dunk more than just a sword and a shield. He gave him a sense of purpose. And in life, you need a sense of purpose. You need your vocation. You need your thing that you're supposed to strive for. It gives you the ambition to keep going and do better each time. And Ser Arlan gave him that purpose and gave him an image of what a knight should be, even though, again, he was just a simple hedge knight. Ser Arlan, he was more of a knight than most noble borns could ever really be. But over the years on the road, Dunk witnessed again the lives of the small folk, but also the nobles and of the other knights. And this would shape him into the man that he was, a fiercely loyal man, a humble man, and one that was always striving to be true to what a knight is, both in name and in deed. Duncan served Sir Arlan faithfully as his squire for many, many years, growing into a towering figure, hence the name Ser Duncan the Tall. He stood out not only in his size, but in his integrity, and that's where the legend of Ser Duncan the Tall truly begins. Dunk's life would forever change after the death of Ser Arlan. At this point, Dunk was left to fend for himself in a world that he wasn't sure what his place would be within it. but destiny had plans for Sir Duncan. It was at a small inn near the town of Ashford that he would cross paths with his destiny, and that would be when he met up with a peculiar little boy named Egg. And unbeknownst to Dunk, Egg was a Targaryen prince that was in disguise. Aegon Targaryen, who would one day become King Aegon V. Dunk reluctantly took Egg into his service as squire, totally again unaware of Egg's true identity. But the two would form a quick bond, and it would become one that was unshakable. And it would carry them through countless adventures throughout their journey through the Seven Kingdoms. Together, though, they would set off to Ashford Meadows, where Dunk hoped to earn his place in the tournament and make his name as a true knight. And in the books, it's sir, he wasn't a knight yet. He wasn't a knight, and it was. I loved how he did it. There's that movie, A Knight's Tale. What is it? Keith. Oh my God, I can't remember his name. Anyway, he played the Joker. I'll put a picture. Anyway, it's much like that movie, and I saw that movie years ago with my husband, and we just absolutely loved it. The music was great and all, and then reading the Hedge Knight and the Seven Kingdoms, it's so that movie to an extent, and it was just really cool. And then Robert Baratheon, I don't remember the actor's name. He's in it as a squire for Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger. But it was such a good movie, and it like kind of mirrors that whole journey from not being a real knight to knighthood in actuality. And it's really great, and I can't wait to see it come to live action in the Night of the Seven Kingdoms that's coming up in the first of 2025. And I'm so excited. I want to see Dunk. I want to see Egg. It's going to be so great. The Ashford tournament is where Sir Duncan, his name would become known to the entire realm. It was where Duncan, still unknighted, would enter the list as a hedge knight. He would find himself totally embroiled into a dispute between Prince Aerion Targaryen, who was brutally assaulting a puppeteer that Dunk had befriended. And I'll try not to give too much away, but it became he knocked Nigel Arion right out and like kicked him in the mouth, and it was he was hurting that prince. He lost his like temper and beat the crap out of him until Arion's guards had to literally pull Dunk off and were about to like beat the crap out of old Dunk until little Egg popped in and let it be known that y'all better stop because I am Aegon Targaryen. But then poor Dunk was arrested, and it got pretty bad for a minute, and he was such a good guy. He couldn't let this poor puppeteer girl, and I think she comes into play later. I don't, like I said, I haven't finished all of Dunk and Egg. I've only read the beginning. And anyway, they were hurting her, and it was terrible, and Dunk couldn't do it, and Egg couldn't stand seeing it because he seems to really like puppeteers. I'm curious to see what's up with the puppeteers and Egg. He likes the puppet show, but they couldn't stand them beating that poor girl, so he went and got Duncan, and like I said, Duncan beat the heck out of Prince Arion, who, if you don't know, I gave you spoiler warnings ahead earlier, so you were warned. But Prince Arion's the one that they called Arion Brightflame because in his madness ends up drinking wildfire, thinking that that would turn him into a dragon, and that's how Arion dies. He's a crazy, twisted character, and again, I'm really excited to see that character brought to life. I love a good bad guy. I love a good person to hate. Cersei and Joffrey were awesome. They were great villains, and Arion's going to be a good villain. again, Dunk didn't really know anyone at Ashford. Not really. He had talked to the blacksmith and again a couple of the princes. Beat the heck out the one, the puppeteers, and they had fled. And the puppeteer, though, did leave the shield that Dunk had asked her to paint over Sir Arlan's sigil because he needed his own, which is kind of the sigil right over here in the center of the thing with the big oak tree, the sunset background, and the shooting star. So she did leave that all painted up pretty for him. But that was the only people that he really knew. But Egg had promised that he would find someone to help. And as Dunk was making his way through the camp, feeling kind of down at that point, like really down, thinking, "What have I done?" Um, he went back and talked to the Fossleways that he had met earlier in the story. Um, and Sir Stephen Fossaway had promised that he would be one of the seven and fight for Dunk. But his cousin Raymond was like, "I don't think my cousin's really going to do this," is what he told Dunk at one point after Stephen had wandered off to go try to recruit some more men for Dunk. And at that point, Prince Darion, no, yeah, Darion, Prince Darion, uh, came into the tent and was telling Dunk that he has visions and that's why he drinks, which in the show Game of Thrones with Maester Aemon, he was telling that at one point that, or was it the books? Sometimes I get them confused. But he ends up telling that my brothers all had dragon dreams and it drove them crazy. And the only way that Darion could like keep those dragon dreams at bay is trying to drink himself into oblivion, where Arion has kind of like gone mad from these dragon dreams, and it's kind of sad. But Darion's telling Dunk that, "Look, I'm going to be fighting with my brother. The King's Guard, three of them are going to be fighting with my brother. My dad's going to be fighting." And Dunk at this point is like, totally, what am I going to do? I've got King's Guard and princes to fight against, and he's a simple hedge knight, even though, again, he's not really even a knight yet. Um, and so poor Dunk is like beside himself, and Darion tells him that, "I had a vision or a dream that you would slay a dragon." They had met in the inn where he met Egg, and Darion is the one who shaved Egg's head so that no one would realize that he was a Targaryen. So Darion could go into the inn and get drunk and not even have to participate in this tournament. And now he's dragged into a trial by seven, but he tells Dunk that a dragon gets slayed here, and please don't let it be me. I'm gonna like fall down and be like, I'm hurt. And I really like Darion's character. He's one of the other ones in that I'm looking forward to seeing in live action. I'm curious to see who they cast for him and how they portray this character, because Darion really is, he's very interesting. I can't wait. But with that, he leaves, and again, Dunk is like in a massive low place of what am I going to do? But in the end, Dunk does get. I got my notes on the thing. Sorry, I'm older and I smoke a little too much stuff, and I get forgetful sometimes. But he ended up getting Raymond Fossilway because his cousin Stefan did switch sides and fight with Arion. He figured that was the winning team, so I'm going to go with the winning team, and he picked the wrong side. But he also had Robin Roslin, Sir Robin Roslin, and as well as Humphrey Beesbury, Humphrey Harding, Lionel Baratheon, one of the ancestors of our Baratheons. We love the Baratheons, the poor things. And then in the end, as Dunk's standing there going, "I've only got 6 people with himself included," and as he's looking around the tourney ground as they're getting ready to start the trial by seven, and you've got three King's Guard, three princes of the royal Targaryen blood against you, and Sir Stephen at this point as well. And poor Dunk's like, what am I going to do? And so he pleads to the crowd that is gathered to watch this trial by seven, and pleads to the knights of the realm. And the majority just don't even look at him, turn away, talk to each other. Most won't meet his eye as he truly pleads for them to as to use their honor as knights of the realm. I was defending an innocent. How can you not stand with me? I'm in the right. The gods will be with me. And all of these knights are like, ah, nothing. And then all of a sudden, in trots, Prince Prince Baelor Targaryen, and which is Egg's uncle and brother to Aerion's father, Maekor King. He will eventually become king. Spoilers. I'm always giving spoilers. I did warn you, okay? But Prince Maelor that's his brother, and he's the uncle of Egg and Darion and Aerion, and he comes in his awesome Targaryen armor, and is like, I got you, Dunk. I'm going to fight. I'll take the King's Guard because they can't hurt a prince of the blood. They're supposed to protect us. So he's like, I got this. And everyone else focus on the others, and you deal with Arion. And so the battle ensues. And in the end, Dunk is triumphant. It's going to be one of like the most brutal, awesome fight scene, like Jon Snow and Ramsay Bolton, bloody, oh my god, kind of fight. It's going to be really, really awesome. And another thing I can't wait to see. So he wins, and he makes Arion be like, Dunk's right. I withdraw my accusations, and Dunk is victorious, but he is wounded and is taken back to his tent to rest and have his armor taken off because he's hurt real bad. And then, spoilers, I warned you, Prince I can't say his name today. Prince Baelor comes in, and I don't know how they're going to do it on the show because it's going to be, oh my god, but they take his head. It's terrible, and he is the dragon that is slain at the tournament of Ashford, and it's something that will forever follow Dunk throughout the rest of his time as a living person. It just, people always kind of like, why would the gods spare a simple hedge knight and take one of the princes of the blood, the Baelor Targaryen? He was actually like a really good guy, and it seemed like he might be a very good king, but the gods took him instead of Dunk. And of course, we all know that in Westeros, everything happens for a reason. The gods have their hands in everything, but it followed Dunk forever after that. Following the events of Ashford, Duncan was officially knighted Ser Duncan the Tall. His adventures alongside Egg would take them both to many different corners of Westeros. From the rebellion in Dorne, which is where I'm kind of like at in my own reading of the story, to deal with conflicts with rebellious lords, Ser Duncan always stood as the patron of honor. And he, alongside Egg, who, when he revealed his true identity as Aegon, um, became inseparable. Dunk served as both a knight and a protector to this future king. Ser Duncan's life was marked by many acts of valor. He defended the weak, held to his sense of justice, and stood tall, both literally and morally, when many others failed in this or didn't even really try. When they faltered, Ser Duncan was there to be a patron symbol of what a knight should be. And many different little boys wanting to grow up to be knights probably listen to their own old nans telling tales of Ser Duncan the Tall and wanting to be like this honorable man. Um, his his humility, it totally set him apart from all other knights. He remained true to being a knight, both in his deed and in his spirit, despite all the corruption that we know is present in Westeros and beyond. Know of the violence that is always lurking just beyond so many different figures within the Seven Kingdoms. And Dunk stood tall. Dunk refused to let anything take away that that thing that Sir Arlan gave him back in the beginning, his sense of purpose, his sense of honor, of chivalry of what a knight should be. Dunk never lost that, and throughout all of their journeys, he is supposed to be one of the most loyal, fiercely loyal, devoted people to the Targaryen or to Aegon and to the people that need it the most, the weak, the suffering, the ones that are forgotten. Dunk did what knights should. As Aegon ascended the Iron Throne and became King Aegon V Targaryen, Sir Dunk continued to serve as Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. But tragedy struck in the year 259 AC, and it was during an event that we all know as the tragedy of Summerhall. In an attempt to hatch dragon eggs and restore dragons to Westeros, King Aegon Egg inadvertently caused a great fire that destroyed all of Summerhall. It claimed the lives of Jenny of Olstone, Aegon himself, his son Darion, and uh, and Duncan the Tall. It was a tragic event, and it was a moment again of profound loss for the entire realm. Sir Duncan, the ever loyal knight, perished in the flames while he was trying to save those that were trapped within. His death was a final testament to his character, though. He was a knight who never wavered, even in the face of overwhelming danger. He ran in head first, ready to do what was needed to protect the family that he had sworn to protect, the people that I'm sure he loved in a way. He had to. He helped raise Aegon and to be the man that he was. And I think much like his other brothers, um, the dragon dreams, they pushed him to insanity, to, if not insanity, to at least do this insane act of trying to birth dragons with wildfire when everyone knows wildfire. It's wildfire. You don't play with wildfire. And there's all these whispers about what actually happened. Was he, was it just some eggs and wildfire, or were there supposed to be sacrifices? Was it kind of intentionally done by Egg? And for poor Duncan, whatever the case is, the little boy that he watched from the cute little boy that was a little mouthy, that loved puppet shows and fought for the honor of the puppeteer, that was a simple, nice girl, over his cousin, a prince. It go from that sweet little boy that had the fish on the stick cooking for Dunk to this king that ended up inverted, maybe potentially did it on purpose, but killed so many people, even if it was by accident. Dang, why don't you have the whole family there when you're playing with wildfire? But it was terrible. But Dunk being that night, being a man of honor, being a man of loyalty for this family. I don't think he couldn't have just stood there and watched Summer Hall burn and not tried to rush in to save Aegon and his son and all of the others, whoever he could find. It's a sad way for such a great character to end, but again, a testament to his character, to the legend of Ser Duncan the Tall. Although Ser Duncan the Tall is long gone, his legacy lives on in the hearts of those that remember him as one of the truest knights that has ever graced the Seven Kingdoms. His humility, bravery, and unwavering sense of honor remains a shining example of what a knight should be. Ser Duncan the Tall's tale may have ended in tragedy, but his spirit lives on in the stories of Westeros, and perhaps, just maybe, even some of the bloodlines within this realm. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of ice and fire. Until next time, remember, honor may not always win the day, but it is what makes us truly noble.